Hey everyone, I'm Anna Berry. This is New to the Street. Today I'm speaking with Sonar. We have its CEO, Jacob, and the Director of Education and Company Structure, Elias. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello. Thanks for having us, Anna.
Okay, so Sonar, you've created a software that has simplified our crypto workflow, but you also claim to keep us sane throughout navigating it. Okay, so 2022 is in full swing. Tell us a little bit about Sonar and what's ahead for the rest of 2022.
Yep. So this year, I mean, we have a lot of stuff coming up. 2022 was always geared since our launch to be the year where we'll have the robust form of our products out to the public. We will have the official releases of V1 of our platform and wallet. There is a reason why we call our product as the smartphone of crypto. The robust version of our product will include most of the necessary tools, analytics, information, and education needed for both experienced investors and also those new to the space. So our aim has always been to have a user-friendly, state-of-the-art product, which even a crypto newbie can use to start from scratch, learn and become acquainted with the crypto space. In the shorter term, from a company point of view, from a security point of view, we are undergoing our company security audit and the registration of the white paper with the authorities. This will help us to try get into the tier 1 top exchanges, centralized exchanges, which will help us increase our brand awareness, holders, followers, etc. In the next couple of weeks, we also intend to start contacting several venture capitalists, angel investors, advisors, and much more. And we intend to initiate a first round of investments pretty soon. So yeah, that should be, let's say, a pretty good boost from the financial marketing and development side as well. That's kind of the medium-term plans we've got right now.
Sounds like a good full year ahead. Elias, yeah. I'm assuming this next question's for you. Talk a little bit about the education part of your vision.
Yeah, so basically the way we started from the very beginning was to focus on building a community from the ground up that was centered around educating the users no matter what their experience is. And from there, word of mouth spread that, there was a project in a space that was rather, people like to use the word degenerate or scammy. And, there was a project that was trying to cut through that noise with a more holistic and genuine approach to, the Web3 finance that is crypto. And so what we've done in the platform, we're in beta now, but people can try it. And every part of the platform kind of gears education in there in some way, whether it's just hovering over a word you might not be familiar with. If it's your first time researching crypto, it'll give you an explanation. Whether it's the newsroom, which has AI summarization, so you just get a nice organized list of recent news being updated regularly. And, the sentiment lab, which we'll get to in the interview, that's going to cover a bit of what the social network is saying about projects in the space. And the whole idea is to help people help themselves, in simple terms. And, part of what I'm doing as well behind the scenes is creating and curating a Sonar Academy, which, we've seen the likes of that in some other projects. And it's all part of kind of bringing everything into one place for, the user to not have to chase down resources, because in theory, all the resources are out there. And as new things are evolved in the blockchain, resources get developed as well. But it's important for companies to be working towards a holistic approach, as I've said, which is unifying and simplifying everything, as our CIO, Cristiano, likes to say. He's been on the show as well. And, so part of that is creating a user interface and tying it into a user experience, which, as Jacob said, is user-friendly. And that is how new people get into the space and feel like it's not just this gold rush .com boom or whatever people want to say about it, because there is technology value to this and ways for it to tie into the real world. And if we want to get to that point, education literally is the bridge to that. And I I personally don't think you can put any of the other things before it, like, profit and innovation. I feel like education is the only way to make those things make sense for everyone, so that everyone can use it in a way that works long term. And then, we have other things, like I do a blockchain education series on YouTube. I think we're on episode 18 now, and it's kind of like this. I do an interview with someone in the space, and we have a topic like, what is staking, or what are NFTs, that kind of thing. And the community actually gets to watch live as it happens and kind of comment on it. And that's on our YouTube as well.
This is mind-blowing to me, because as kind of a new user to this type of technology, which obviously is not going anywhere, this really piques my interest. Having this kind of education part of it. Some guys are pros. This is like your language you speak, but a lot of other people, we don't understand what this means. So tell me a little bit, just break that down for me. Like, explain that feature you talked about, like hovering over, and how someone like me can jump in, and what do I learn? Walk me through that.
Okay, so for example, when you first get on the app right now, the homepage is just our native chart of our token ping, which is part of the Sonar ecosystem. So first you'll see a chart in the token studio. Above it, you'll have, the tabs that describe, the data points of the chart, such as, the value of the token, the liquidity, the circulating supply of the token. So when I say these words, they don't tend to mean something. So when you hover over the tabs, they'll give you an explanation. And then, from there you move over to social sentiment, which is coming up as well, which tells you the community's mood, the people's moods around the admin team. And then you see the social media engagement, how many followers they have, what's going on, is their engagement increasing or decreasing? And then there's a connect wallet feature, which is very easy to see. And when you connect your wallet to it, it'll show how much of that project, how many token shares, let's say, you hold, how much. It'll break down your profit. It'll break down your average entry point, which in traditional finance, people already know that kind of viewpoint where you have to enter a price and exit a price. And so it'll break all those things down. And then on the left side of the platform, there's, the different apps in it, which, right now we have the newsroom and the token studio. So when you go to the newsroom, it's just a simple list of articles being pulled every 30 minutes from the data points on the news websites. And then the AI summarizes it, and you can just read the summary. You can dive in deeper. Wow. And then, that's just what we have now, but there'll be a lot more coming.
That's a great feature. Well, speaking of AI, you also are launching a new AI feature this week. Tell me about that.
Yeah, as Eli mentioned right now, actually today, as we're speaking, we're launching our AI sentiment analysis, and also an upgrade to our token studio. The sentiment analysis, the way it works, it extracts data from social media channels like Telegram, Twitter, etc., stores this, processes it, and presents a digestible analysis to the public. So in essence, it's going to tell you, look, how is the public feeling about this token today? Is it a positive sentiment? Is it a negative sentiment? There's a score to reflect such a sentiment. There's a chart reflecting the sentiment, so you can compare what the sentiment was yesterday to today, or last week to this week. So we're also having, like Eli explained, different analytics. So how many followers you have on your social channels, what is the engagement from the people? There's an engagement score. Are people engaging a lot with the social media of that token or that project itself? So that is actually what we're launching today in our the version 1 of the AI sentiment analysis on our Sonar beta.
Fantastic. All right. So talk a little bit about the climate out there. Given this current market climate, how does Sonar plan to insulate themselves from turbulence and continue to grow? And talk a little bit about some competitors out there in this area.
Okay. With regards to the first questions, when we're talking about the market climate and what can we do about it? The only way a business can be successful and ensures longevity is by preparing mitigation measures for let's call them worst case scenarios. This is this is especially important in the crypto space. It is a highly rewarding space, but it's also highly relatively volatile compared to other markets. Therefore, we have prepared plans and procedures to adapt to certain situations. First of all, we have to continue to build. When you're building out revenue streams for the company. So some revenue streams do not depend on market conditions. Some do, some don't. But there will always be a constant income to the company itself. Second of all, we trade our assets. I mean, we're not just traders ourselves, but we do trade company assets to make profit and always continue having another kind of revenue. Third of all, we do trade our own liquidity between native currencies and stable coins according to the market conditions. So, if the market is going up, you change to stable coins. If the market is going down, you change back to the native currencies. So using that type of let's call it professional trading systems, you can keep going even into the worst of times. So yeah, I mean, it's important. It's very important to mitigate the effects of certain market conditions, which are out of our control at the end of the day.
What I've noticed in being in crypto is that it goes through those cycles that people understand psychologically. So it's a funny thing to talk about objectively, because it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If enough people agree that this cycle is ending, then it just does. So it's really interesting. And the main thing is that projects that are building utility like we are, it's about the long term. So you have to keep building through it. And that's just one of the couple of the slogans in crypto you hear is, keep building and hodling, as they say, or holding. But yeah, if you see value in a project, you stick around for the long term, and it's not often that you'll be disappointed in crypto in that way.
I know you mentioned something about, I think you asked us a question about competitors, if I'm not mistaken. We do have competitors up to a certain extent. So yes, we are not the only ones providing a charting tool. We are actually not the only ones providing some kind of AI data as well, even though I still think it's the most digestible and is presented a much better way on our app. So there are certain areas which do have competitors, certain parts of our platform which do have competitors. But the whole point of all this is to create this one platform that encapsulates everything. And that's why I mentioned the smartphone of crypto. I mean, so when we had the first smartphone, we didn't consider the computer or the email as a competitor to the smartphone, even though you can send an email through your smartphone, you know what I mean? So we didn't consider the old telephone as a competitor to the smartphone. So what we're trying to do is trying to put everything into one space, the digestible space, and obviously add quite a lot of things of our own.
Well, that sounds good. I can't wait to try it myself. Tell me a little bit about, there's some new features on the horizon that you'd like our audience to know about. What is that?
Shall I start, Eli?
Yeah, you can start.
Yeah. So first of all, we'll continue obviously developing the features for the platform itself. So we will have the AI contract auditor. So what it does is people, when they want to invest in a token, they can copy and paste the contract and check, or even just search for the name and check whether there is a possibility that this is a scam, because there are less than honest people out there that try to create tokens or projects that are a scam. So it will help people make safer investments. We have our wallets. I think this is going to be one of the biggest releases we'll have. Again, other wallets exist, but what we intend to do is we intend to integrate a lot of information into the wallet itself. So make it more user-friendly, including some education stuff or information, including analytics. I mean, again, this is the part where it's not a totally new thing. In traditional finance, you find a lot of tools that exist already. but for some reason they're not into crypto. So we're trying to attack that niche and try to be the first ones to do it in the best way possible, because being the first is not enough.
Great. Thank you, Jacob. Elias, would you like to comment?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, part of what makes a project stand out from its competitors as well, to touch on that, is I personally believe community. And a driving factor which has been a part of our early success was community. And for me, that is a feature that you can keep developing as well, is growing it internationally, as it is a very international space for crypto. And so we have about 20 language channels on our Telegram alone, and a pretty vocal community in those different languages. And it's really fun to develop that as a feature to me as a community lead. And so part of what we're doing from a community side coming up as well is an NFT launch. NFTs, they're a lot of fun. There's a lot of goods and bads to anything new in this space, but the point is that we don't really know its potential yet. So we want to take a stab at adding NFTs with a bit of utility and community engagement to them. So we're having a series where it's the founders' faces as pixels, profile pictures with different features on them. Like there's one of me with my pink headset, for example, is a rarer one. And then so it'll be a small collection of 250 as well. And we're going to try to make sure that it's our holders that have first access to them. And what'll happen is when you're holding one of those NFTs, it's not just about holding it to appreciate and value, though that is another part of, having one. It's that while holding it, you get our native token ping as a reward. You just accumulate it just daily, like interest basically. And then you can claim it through a transaction on the blockchain whenever you want those rewards. And then, you can use NFTs as like a voucher, like if you have an event digitally or in person, and people who have that NFT can either get like a VIP access or a cheaper ticket, or just entrance and admittance in general. So there's fun ways to do that, or private chat rooms where the NFT holders only get access or something,
Fantastic. It sounds like you're really creating a broad ecosystem here with Sonar. So tell our audience where people can find you, the crypto, and kind of this community that you're building.
Yeah, so if you go to our website, which is sonarplatform.io, we have all our socials there, our white paper, our team is there, the roadmap. The first thing you'll see is try the beta, so that'll take you right to our app. Our most community engagement happens on our Telegram channel. So, you can talk to us there, or on Discord if you prefer that, engage with us on Twitter. And yeah, we're always around. We make ourselves available.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on New to the Street. We really look forward to connecting again in the near future and hear some more exciting updates. Thank you, Elias and Jacob with Sonar.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks so much, Hannah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you all for watching. All right. Great job.